Hi everyone, we will move on to the 15th session of Foundations of Research Methodology and Statistics in Psychology, that is Unit 2. Here we will discuss about the sampling techniques. In the previous class we have discussed about what is sampling, types of sampling techniques, and especially with regard to random sampling techniques. The objective of the present session is to understand the techniques of non-random sampling. So, we will move on to non-random sampling techniques. As you all know, non-random sampling is that sampling procedure which does not afford any basis for estimating the probability that each item in the population has of being included in the sample. Non-probability sampling is also known by different names such as deliberate sampling, purposive sampling, and judgment sampling. In this type of sampling, items for the sample are selected deliberately by the researcher. His choice concerning the items remains supreme. To be simpler, under non-probability sampling, the organizers of the inquiry purposefully choose the particular units of the universe for constituting a sample on the basis that the small mass that they so select out of a huge one will be a typical or representative of the whole. Coming to non-random sampling techniques, the first one is quota sampling. Under quota sampling, the interviewers are simply given quotas to be filled from the different strata with some restrictions on how they are to be filled. In other words, the actual selection of the items for the sample is left to the interviewer's discretion. This type of sampling is very convenient and is relatively inexpensive, but the samples so selected certainly do not possess the characteristic of random samples. Quota samples are essentially judgment samples, and inferences drawn on their basis are not amenable to statistical treatment in a formal way. Coming to next type of sampling, that is purposive sampling. Here the researcher chooses a sample based on who they think should be appropriate for the study. It is also known as judgmental sampling. This is used primarily when there is a limited number of people that have expertise in the area being researched. Coming to the next sampling technique, that is, we are discussing about non-random sampling techniques or non-probability. We shall discuss about convenience sampling. It is also known as grab or opportunity sampling, or also as accidental or haphazard sampling. It's a type of non-probability sampling which involves the sample being drawn from that part of the population which is close to hand, that is readily available and convenient. The researcher using such a sample cannot scientifically make generalizations about the total population from this sample because it would not be a representative enough. To give an example, if the interviewer wants to conduct a survey at a shopping center early in the morning on a given day, the people that he or she could interview would be limited to those given there at that given time, which would not represent the views of other members of the society in such an area if the survey was to be conducted at different times of day and several times per week. This type of sampling is most useful for pilot testing. Coming to the summary of the session, we have discussed about non-random sampling techniques. That is three types of non-random sampling techniques. Thank you.